going to be terrible, but it worked out great. So,
did Toby have notes for you?
No, Toby had no notes for me. He loves me. If you interview him, he'll be like, I think Judah did an excellent job. He was like my twin. That's what he says. And no, it was great because I studied him a lot. But every once in a while I'd ask him like, Toby, how do you say this word here? And then because most of the movie is pretty much most of the stuff in the movie it's about 95% scripted. And then there's a couple scenes, the MTV scene where they're doing my hair and stuff, some of those lines I made up. Most of the stuff is word for word, and most of the dialogue is taken right from the comic books, which Harvey wrote, which is taken right from real dialogue that happened in real life. So, the dialogue is very natural throughout the movie. Sometimes when you do movies, the script, the dialogue is not natural, and you need to change it some. But this movie, you really did it.
Tell me about the real Harvey and Joyce being around. Are they misanthropic? Are they?
Well, Harvey, I always got the feeling Harvey hated me, and but then I'm like, then I brought that up to the directors and producer when I met them at a screening about a year ago, and they're like, well, he was that way with everybody, pretty much, So but I was always like careful not to get in like Harvey's way because he always seemed a little pissed off or depressed. But Joyce is hilarious. She's like the opposite of Harvey, just always kind of. She's always got something sarcastic to say and always kind of a little bossy, but she always cracks me up. So
were they happy with the film?
Yeah, they were. They were both happy with the film. You might not know it from the way Harvey acted. I remember we were nominated for. We got pretty much nominated for every award for the Independent Spirit Awards in 2004, and Harvey was just both hands on his face, just looking straight down at the table and like practically drooling the entire 4-hour event, and didn't even talk to anybody and didn't eat or anything. He was just pissed off and miserable. So it was a bummer, but that's the way he was. Yeah, at least that day. Some days he wasn't. I remember at Sundance he was doing some push-ups one night, and I remember because at the Sundance Film Festival we all kind of slept in this. They rented out some cottage and we were all like sleeping there. And I remember me and Harvey like moving a couch so that I think he can sleep on the couch and I was like sleeping on the floor. And yeah, it was just it was real low budget. And when we filmed it, it was low budget. It was about a 4-week shoot in Cleveland, and me and Paul Giamatti shared a trailer on it and hung out, and we watched a lot of, on our downtime, we watched bad movies on the little, I brought my VHSs with me, and we watched these shitty movies and enjoy them.
And you were telling me that while you were making it, you weren't sure that this was going to work.
Yeah, no, I remember me and Paul talking, and we're like, we were nervous. It was a very hard shoot because, the whole time, for me it was difficult because, it's heavy character work, and you're trying to make it natural, you're trying to make it serious, you're trying to make it funny, but ultimately you're trying to make it real. And the whole time, 12 hours a day, I don't look like me, I don't walk like me, I don't talk like me, and it catches up to you. I had a panic attack like one night at like 3 a.m. where my heart was just beating, super fast and stuff. And then talking to Paul, we were like, we don't know if this is gonna work, but we're trying something new, but that's often a good feeling. Like if you're doing a movie and everything's just happy and everything's just going great, I think it has a better chance of being a shittier movie than if you're doing a movie and you're like, I don't know if this is gonna work, but it might, So
there's a lot of bold stuff, like putting, using the animation and using different kinds of animation.
They really tried to make it like a comic book, and then I think it was the first movie not to just be part documentary and part narrative, but to actually have both in the same shot together, And I think it was the first movie that did that, and we weren't sure if it was gonna work, and it did. So it was cool. I like doing projects that are different than what I do, like on 30 Rock. I really like doing the whole chameleon thing, and the past 6 years I've barely been able to do it because of the 30 Rock schedule, but before that I used to do that a lot, so after 30 Rock hopefully I'll be able to do some more of that shit.
How has 30 Rock changed your life?
it's weird, man. It's like being back in high school, you know. It's like I didn't get into show business to have to get up at 6 a.m. every day, you know. It's like I got into show business so I can sleep in late and do stand-up shows at night. That was like how I thought it worked. And then all of a sudden you're on 30 Rock and you got to get up at 6 a.m. and then you leave at like 9 p.m. and I'm like, what the fuck happened here, you know? But I have no complaints, you know. But it's kind of like being in high school, but you don't know when it's going to end, you know. You think it might be like, oh, mom, maybe I'll do this for a year, and it turns into 7 years, and it's like, it's weird. Yeah. But it's cool. It's like having a day job, but it's weird. But it's fine.
And then you still go out and do stand-up.
Yeah, I still do stand-up. Stand-up's always been my main thing, and that's like home base for me. And, you know, I do probably 500 shows a year, you know, or so, because I do several shows a night in New York when I'm there every night, and then when I go on the road, it's, you know, 1 or 2 shows a night.
When you started doing stand-up, were you always the world champion, or did you?
No, that kid. My act was always very audience interaction heavy, talking with the crowd and making stuff up on the spot. It was always very joke heavy.